What's going on, guys? Hopefully you guys had a good day. We didn't have a terrible day, but we had a frustrating day and a day where we kind of let our emotions cause us to have a worse day than we should have. So negative 26 on the day. We took technically 3 trades, 2 over here, 1 over here. And one of them was just completely avoidable, right? And none of them are even really wrong per se, but I have experience to know that this trade here I should never take. I took it with 1 micro, reason being because I knew I probably shouldn't have been taking it, right? And looks like the trade would be playing out even though it had been a lot of chop. I took this 1 minute inverse right here after sweeping this low inside a 15-minute, 30-minute, and 5-minute fair value gap. I wanted to see us remanipulate this high. I took it with 1 micro, and I ended up losing $26 on that trade. And the reason why this ever happened was because going into the day, I had a great trade that I mismanaged, and I'll go over that, right? It's a mistake that I will learn from, right? It's not the end of the world. It's just an opportunity to learn, right? We don't have to worry about, making mistakes like that. It's not gonna ruin our life and our trading, right? It's not the end of the world, right? When you make a mistake in trading, it is never going to be the end of the world. So I don't have to worry about it. I'm going to manually lock myself out because I made too many mistakes. So I won't allow myself to. I basically. Even if another great setup came, I'm forcing myself to be punished in a sense that since I made mistakes, right, if a great setup comes, I will want to see that great setup come out and I'll take it on paper. And because I made mistakes earlier and broke my rules, I won't be allowed to take that trade because I will have already locked myself out. So because of my bad trading, I'll have to feel the consequences. If a great setup comes, I'll have to live with the fact that it's kind of like a punishment, right? So I physically cannot have a worse day than $26 now, but that means I also can't win on a trade. So that's fine, right? That's part of the game. That's absolutely part of the game. So that's just how it works. And today I have to be disciplined, and that's a great sign of improvement, in my opinion. I'm very happy with the improvement I've made there because, and this is the practice, we just took another bad setup down, but that's improvement, right? Me being able to lock my account there is improvement, and I'm very happy with it because, again, it's just great improvement to make because it shows that I'm able to recognize, that I wasn't trading great today. I wasn't trading with the best frame of mind, and I don't, make bad days worse, right? I don't make stupid decisions and amplify them and all of that stuff. My hair is freaking out today, looking crazy, but anyways, going into the day, I was very bullish because of the higher time frame narrative, right? Like I've been talking about for the longest time, we are going to complete buy side of the curve, right, to this high here. And then I would like to see us fall through to these highs as well that we haven't gotten yet. So that was the higher time frame narrative, if you just keep that in mind. We had also I want to see maybe the rest of this week become a AMD model, right? I want to see this become the accumulation. I want to see a manipulation higher and then some distribution back lower through these swing lows. So that's kind of my game plan, kind of what I'm looking for. But going into the day, I was noticing that we were delivering from Friday's new day opening gap, and we inversed this 1 hour and we've been displacing higher. Going into the morning, right, this was market open. I didn't have a clear understanding that we are going to see yesterday's high, but I did want to see yesterday's high get taken, and I wanted to see this high get completed today because if we run through this high, we should have the strength to get it, which we did. So that was my game plan, and my first trade was good. My first trade was really good. We had a 5-minute imbalance that we made, and I'll mark it out here. We made a 5-minute off open. We were wicking really strong, but we had a lot of confluences here. We had the higher time frame narrative, and we had a 9:30 a.m. open SMT, right? And I think that the 9:30 open SMT has a lot more weight than a lot of SMTs. Reason being, this is the 9:30 open, right? When the New York opens, ES came down and took out this low, so ES made a low of day during the New York session, which a lot of traders don't have the overnight, so they just see New York open. They see ES made a lower low, and Q didn't. And then we were in this 5 minute, right? And the 5 minute almost closed here, but we ended up closing the 5 minute on this candle. So that was a very bullish close. We had a very nice tail on the ES, and then we had a nice inverse fair value gap. So my original trade, I got in with 2 micros. I got in right on the close, or maybe not right on the close, but I was risking around $100 something, and my first take profit would have been the yesterday's high. I would have gone break even at this high, and I would have left my runner for this model to be complete. So I would have left my runner for 79 points, which would have been very good, right? We had a very good 3 risk reward on the whole trade. If we had to stop here, wherever. And this trade was good. And I'll pull up the execution now because I'll show you guys obviously where I went wrong, right? And no, okay, at least you guys can't. All right, hold up. There we go. So I'll go over kind of my mindset and what I could do better, right? Similar mistakes, but we try and figure out why we make this mistake. So I got into the trade a little bit higher, I guess, so we're risking a little bit more. And that's fine. This would have been $122, so that would have locked us in $60 on the first take profit, which is solid. And then we would have gone to break even and made the full profit. So I wanted to see this 1 minute bearish inverse fair value gap get broken, which we do. So this trade looks really good, right? We have a nice fair value gap created here that my stop is below. Inverse fair value gap to hold. So there's a lot of confluences. I should have never moved my stop loss. Again, I know you guys are tired of me moving my stop loss early, but this is important to talk about, right? And it's fine. I don't care about the people in the comments that know everything, right? Because I understand my mistakes, right? I recognize these things. I'm trying to improve on them, and so that doesn't mean so this is the 5 minute I was talking about. It closed really, really nice. So again, I recognize these things, I recognize these problems, that's why I'm making these videos reviewing it, that's why I journal these mistakes, that's why I try and improve, right? So it's never, I don't want anyone to think that if they're struggling with a mistake, that just because they know better, doesn't, what's wrong with me? Why am I making the same mistake? Why am I doing it again, right? There's nothing wrong with you, that's just because trading is difficult to break certain mental habits, so. And a lot of it's just psychological. A lot of it's just fear of losing, right? There's a lot of stuff that goes into it, and I struggle with these things, right? I'm not too proud to admit that I struggle with these things with trading. So I'm in the trade, and this is where I would have gone break even. I would have gone break even at the high. We had a 2 minute fair value gap here that I wanted to see get inversed, right? To have confidence. We had 19 seconds left on this candle, and we do not inverse it, right? So then we keep letting price develop, and when I saw this candle go here, I started moving to break even slightly early. Notice we did not take out the high. And realistically, I don't hate the fact that I go to break even here, but because a lot of times it will just continue to run through, and you really don't want to see it come back down lower. But hindsight is always 20/20, and obviously I would have been better off not going to break even. So going to break even definitely harmed me here. And you see, I even moved my stop lower after we didn't close. I ended up moving it somewhere. I moved it lower right here. I moved it back down, which again would have saved me. But this close scared me, right? We were holding this 2 minute. This just scared me. It just did. It just instilled fear into my trade. I was trading on emotion rather than the chart. And then it obviously comes down and stops me out there, which I do want to go over kind of how I was feeling after that, right? So this would have been a great trade. We would have gotten, we entered on this candle probably, so we would have gotten 72 points and then 30 points, so 30 plus 100 points. So today would have been a $200 trading day, which is very, very solid. And we would have been risking around 120 or so. So we would have been risking about a 2R overall, even with taking profit here. And the trade would have worked. So the hindsight is that today's trade idea worked, and it worked very well. And it's just me mismanaging again, like normal, that caused things to go bad, right? So this would have been a great trade, or was a great trade. I just mismanaged the position, and that's fine. It's fine because I'm learning every day, right? It's not the end of the world. That $200 is not going to change my life, right? But building the habits and getting better and better at these things will. So one of the things I really want to mention and talk about was my emotions after the fact. I wasn't, distraught like normal, like when I used to first start trading, where it was like the end of the world if I missed a setup, or if I was in a setup, I mismanaged it and I didn't make money. Today I was like, okay, it's not the end of the world, but it did lead me to just be antsy. And one of my biggest things I've learned that will save almost every single trader, it will save every single trader. When the objective for the day gets taken, don't trade. I should have locked my account before the $26. And again, very happy that I limited it to $26, even with the mistakes we'll go over with the trades. Very grateful for that, because previous days I would still be sitting there trading. I would still be looking for opportunities. I wouldn't be able to step away, and I would be frustrated because of my first trade I didn't get to capitalize on, right? Because I would feel entitled to a result that I didn't execute well enough to deserve. So the objective of the day gets taken. Day is done. I do not care. I do not care, especially if you had a setup to it, right? If it's really early and the market rips up and then you can maybe get another model, cool. But we had a trade. I had a trade that I was in. I mismanaged it and it went to my objective, right? This is where I was confident on the market to go to. This was my draw on liquidity for the day. Maybe higher, right? This was my draw on liquidity for the day. Also yesterday's high. So when those get taken out after getting a valid setup, right, there is now no longer any need for me to trade. I should have instantly turned my charts off, been happy with seeing the chart well, and just learned from my mistake with how I execute on price. But what did I decide to do? I decided to keep looking at the charts because I want to make money, right? That's something I need to observe and understand, is that I had this desire after missing this trade. I felt like I deserved to have made money today. I felt frustrated a little bit. Again, it wasn't very, very frustrating. It's better than some of the times I used to do this. But there was that feeling of I could have made money today. I should have made money today. What is wrong with me? Why couldn't I capitalize? I'm not getting any closer to passing my account. And then I just sat here, and this trade here, the first mistake was just going to break even. Again, this is a scary reaction, but it's not. It did never invalidate my trade. I need to get better there, right? I recognize that. Second thing is my objective for the day gets taken. A very efficient run of price. We have an SMT at the low. We hold a 5-minute. We get a setup, an inverse setup. We run off open. We run 115 points to the target. We run very efficiently. Price did its job today. Price delivered efficiently. Notice the price action. It's not a coincidence. Notice price action after hitting the daily objective. We're going to chop until lunch. After lunch, right, we're going to probably chop more than likely. So recognizing all these things, my day should have been done, and worst case scenario today should have been a break-even day. Best case scenario was I took the one trade and I was done. Second best case scenario was I mismanaged my trade and I turned off my computer after we took out the objective, which is where I should be able to get to, right? So overall, it's not the end of the world with how we managed today, but there's a lot of things that I've learned before that I need to just really believe in, right? Objective for the day getting taken, be done. When I'm getting to a trade, don't get shaken out because we put it in an equal high and then hold a bearish fair value gap. Trust my original analysis, right? Trust that this fair value gap is good, right? Trust that we have a stop loss and that we will be profitable. If this trade loses, tomorrow's might not, right? And I think that's why I get afraid, because I didn't want to lose $100, right? And not that you can't really risk too much less, right? I was trading 2 micros. So it's not a sizing problem. It's more of a mental problem of, I didn't want to physically let myself, when it was up here, I didn't want to possibly be up and almost get the break-even point and then have it come down and then lose my trade, because mentally I had control. I had control over not letting it become a red day, right? And mentally, red days, I value having a non-red day more than following my rules and having good green days, right? So I clearly need to start valuing red days less and valuing following my rules and trading well over wins and losses, right? Because when I'm trading to the break even and trying to micromanage things, it's because of fear, and it's just fear of, taking losses, losing ground on your account. And these are the things that are holding me back currently that I'm actively working on every single day. So again, I can't wait for, the people that don't watch the video and don't listen to what I'm saying, because I'm going over these mistakes, how I can fix them, I'm going over these things, right, because I am recognizing them. I wouldn't bring these up if I didn't understand that I was making a mistake, right? So I love when everyone that doesn't listen to the video and they start commenting X, Y, and Z as if I didn't cover it in the entirety of the review and the reflection of today's trading. Like, there's just a lot of people. There's a lot of people that don't even that don't. Maybe it's their first video they ever see, and they leave a comment as if I haven't talked about that every single day. And again, that's just a little rant that's very unrelated to a lot of people watching. A lot of you guys are supportive, give good advice, give actual, helpful critiques and stuff like that, which I appreciate. But it's just the ones that, don't even really, probably don't even listen to a word I say, and then they just like to, leave a comment after they click on the video. 30 seconds later, they make a comment, and then they, go on with the day, which is cool too. It's fine. It helps me out. So, it helps me out. So if you want to leave a comment that just isn't really useful, just leave it, because it'll help the algorithm push my videos more. And maybe just leave it. I don't know if dislikes help, but likes help. So make sure to like the video regardless. So that's just kind of how my day went. And then the trade I took here, just the idea was we were in a bigger time frame fair value gap, which was like the 30 minute. The 30 minute here, this 30 minute, let's get rid of this. 30 minute fair value gap, 15 minute, 5 minutes, and we had a turtle soup at this, somewhat turtle soup at this low, right? We swept the low. Liquidity sweep, I guess, not really turtle soup. And we inversed here. So I was anticipating us to go back up one more time, manipulate the high, and I was like, you know what, cool, we'll get into this. One micro. And on a different day, if the objective wasn't taken, this is a valid setup in my opinion. But on a day like today where we had taken the objective and we were just clearly upset about missing our earlier trade, I know that this should be something I avoid, because it's just me mentally trying to press buttons, trying to make myself feel good and take a winner, when I did my job earlier and I just, I made a mistake, and I need to accept the mistake and move on and just avoid losses here, because avoiding the $26 loss here will go a long way in the long run, because that could avoid a $1,000 day or a blowing the account day down in the future, right? It just really could. So disappointed with today for sure, because it is always disappointing to have a good read on price and your objectives get taken and just not make any money. But it also just, it is what it is, right? I can learn from it. And my phone is not charging, bro. I'm actually kind of worried, because I've been having a lot of issues with my phone charging. And it's just not charging. So I don't know what it is. But yeah, man. Really just, it's frustrating. It just is frustrating, right? But these are the days where you get a lot better regardless of how you feel, right? Because this wasn't the greatest trading day ever, right? This, it gave you one setup, it gave you one opportunity that if you just have to really be on sides with price. Like, I had to be on sides with price here for this to work, because we didn't have a million confluences and price structure to validate it besides just higher time frame narrative. So this trade, again, isn't like the greatest trade ever, right? Yesterday was a much better trade, much better setup. But it's like, these are just the mistakes that I think about that keep me up at night. Not really, but these are the trades and the days that just frustrate me the most, because these are the days that, I have a small losing day, a bad day, but this could have been a nice $200 win, and we could have stacked 2 days in a row, right, of just good wins, right? We could add a $200+ win yesterday, could have been more. We could add a $200 win today, could have been more, right? And it's just like, these are the days that I feel like slip away from me. And that's completely fine, because eventually whenever these things are lining up and I'm just executing good, hitting every single time, every day, I can't miss. That's when I'll get rewarded for all the hard work and all the time that I put in, because I know it's coming. I know it's right around the corner. I know we'll get there. And I'm getting better every day. So I'm really just need to just focus on the process and be comfortable and calm in the fact that I'm getting better, right? And just not be frustrated on days like this, because I'm going to wake up tomorrow and the chart's going to open the same way it opened today. And then I'm going to wake up on Friday and it's going to open the same way. And then I'm going to have 2 days off, and then I'm going to open up on Monday the same way, right? Nothing changes. Absolutely nothing changes, and you always have another opportunity. So I need to start understanding and valuing the fact that I have another opportunity every single day, instead of, getting so short-sighted and feeling like today missing out on that one move, right, is going to be the last time it ever works. Because that's what I tell myself. I tell myself, oh, that run, that trade today was going to be the last time this trade ever, and whenever I think about like days like this, it's the way I need to reframe is, instead of being upset that I missed the trade, look at it as, well, that was another good trade. That was another good trade. That was another good trade, right? It should give me confidence that the trade played out, even though I wasn't in it, because now I got the forward test and see it live play out well. Another thing that is good is that, the only reason to ever be upset about these days is just if you have a scarcity mindset, right? When I think about being upset about missing that trade, I then have to reflect and say, why am I upset, right? Because why would I be upset that an idea worked out well, right? The only reason I'd be upset is if that's like the last time, right? If you went to a casino and you were, spinning the slots or whatever, and you're spinning slots, or let's say you're at the roulette table, right? Either of the two. I'll give an example for both. And you're sitting there and you're playing slots, and then you get up for 1 second, right? You go to a different machine, and someone sits down, and the first hand or the first spin that they do on their machine, they hit the mega jackpot for $1 million. That would run your life, because, or not really, maybe it could run your life, but my point being is that you would feel, like you missed your one chance. Like that was it. That was your one chance to get lucky like that, right? That was your one chance to win big, and that's going to solve all your problems. And now you're never going to get it again. It feels like you'll never get it again, because objectively speaking, you probably will never win a mega jackpot for $1 million in the slots ever again. And because you walked away or you messed up, right, you're never going to win. So in trading, that's why it's hard, because when you have a gambling mindset, right, where when you mess up a trade or you miss a trade or you take a losing day, today can easily feel like that lottery ticket or that slot machine win, where it's like, oh my gosh, I stepped away right here. I got stopped out right here on this candle, and then, the slot paid me the mega jackpot. This will never happen again. I can't believe I missed it. And then you feel sorry for yourself, and you feel frustrated, and you feel sad, and like all these different emotions. But when you realize trading isn't a slot machine, trading isn't straight gambling, then you realize that you didn't miss out on your one-hit wonder, right? This is not a one-hit wonder. This repeats. And being able to have the mindset that these things repeat will save you, because it's a longevity mindset. To know that this stuff repeats can convince you to get out of the short term, which is me, myself now, this trade, this setup now, today's P&L now, right? Once you can get out of that mindset, which is hard for me to break, I know my trading will just get better and better, because it's a lie. It's a lie that, the market tries to feed your brain to manipulate you emotionally, right? It's a lie. It feels like gambling because you can lose and win money, but it's not gambling, because you have control over your edge, you have control over your emotions, you have control over the buttons you push, you have control of every single thing you do in the market. And if you have a strategy that repeats, you don't have to worry. That's like the hidden secret that the market doesn't want you to feel, is that you can do this consistently without just being lucky, right? Yes, this trade could have lost, and it's in a sense lucky that this one worked, but over the long period of time that when you risk less, like I was risking less than I would make, then over large sample size, when you have a win rate above 50, if you're risking more or you're risking less than you make, you're always going to come out ahead. So I need to remove the idea. Same with the roulette. If you sit down at a roulette table, let's say your number 7, right? And you bet all the money you have on 7, and it hits, whatever, 11, 10, 12, whatever, not 7, right? And then the very next spin, you see someone sit down and put all their money on 7, and it hits. Then you'd feel like you missed your one chance, right? You missed that one opportunity. Again, same thing, just with like the slot machine. When you have an emotional reaction to messing up a trade and not winning, or missing the entry, right? Maybe you saw a trade here and you didn't get in, and it hits your take profit. When you have an emotional reaction, you need to check yourself really quickly, and I need to do better at this for myself, and check myself and say, why did I have a reaction there? Was it because, right? Why did I have an emotional reaction? Why did I have a physical reaction to that outcome? And most of the time, it's just because it's that jackpot mentality of, that was it. That was the jackpot, right? I'm sure that if you missed your entry and you didn't get in, and it did this, and it would have stopped you out, you wouldn't have any type of reaction. You wouldn't have any type of doubt, any type of fear, any type of FOMO. You'd be almost maybe the opposite. You feel you hit the jackpot in the other way. Wow, I got lucky from that loss, right? So it's a very dangerous game to let any result in trading give you any type of emotional response, and that's where I need to get better. And that's where I need to get better, is just not allow trading to give me any type of emotional response. I'm not saying that you're not gonna have emotions, right? Not to be a robot, but the trading outcome should become so robotic in the sense of, yes, I want this trade to play out. Yes, it'll feel good if it hits take profit, but if it loses, there's no emotional reaction to, do I know what I'm doing? Am I smart at this? Am I good at this? Will I be able to do this? Will I ever get a winner? And then when you win, to not have an emotional reaction like, oh my gosh, I got lucky. But be happy, but then be doubting. Did I get lucky in this trade? Is it gonna ever work again? Is this the last trade that ever works? Oh my gosh, I got 70 handles. Will I ever find that again? And just the emotional reactions to trading are very dangerous, and that's really the main point for today. The main thing I want to reflect on for myself. And at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. A small red day. Again, we're improving, right? These days I could have very easily been jumping back and forth, getting chopped up and lose hundreds upon hundreds and maybe even blow my account. So we are making improvement, cannot complain, and we will get there. Every day we each have a new opportunity. So I appreciate you guys that watch the videos. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And yeah, have some fun today. Get outside, do something fun, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.